Have you ever laid in bed lost in deep thought or felt like something's missing in your life? You're not alone. In fact, many people experience feelings of depression, a sense of aimlessness, and that nagging feeling of being lost at some point in their lives. But why do we feel this way? Is it because life has no meaning, or are we just struggling to find it? Today, we're diving deep into a topic that resonates with many of us, the existential crisis. So, grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's explore together. A soldier's return to civilian life after experiencing war is never easy. The horrors of war, the sight of death, and the thin line between survival and loss reveal a completely different side of reality. But when he comes back home, the world no longer feels the same. Everyday life feels meaningless. While everything around him continues as usual, he feels stuck and disconnected. In fact, this is an extreme example of something we all experience at some point, questioning the meaning of life and wondering if we truly belong where we are. But this questioning is not just about the outside world, it's about our very existence. So, how does a person feel when they face their own existence? According to Jean-Paul Sartre, this awareness brings the weight of freedom. Sartre argues that when a person realizes their absolute freedom, they may feel overwhelmed. He says, man is condemned to be free because once thrown into the world, he is responsible for everything he does. Without the presence of God, we must shape our existence through our own choices, but this realization brings us face to face with an emptiness. Sartre compares the dizziness one feels when looking down from a great height, not just from the fear of falling.
I neglected to tell you, sir, I have a nervous fear of heights.
But from realizing the freedom to let ourselves fall. This is the root of existential distress, understanding absolute freedom and being crushed under its weight. Existential crises don't only happen in extreme situations like war, they can show up in everyday life too. One feeling that often accompanies this is existential loneliness. Think about it. The world is full of people, millions of them, thousands of cities, and countless relationships surrounding us. And yet, sometimes we feel disconnected and completely alone. This isn't just physical loneliness, it's a deeper feeling of being out of touch with the world. So why do we look for meaning in life? Imagine you're waiting somewhere for hours, and someone asks, "Why are you waiting here? You've been here for so long, and you're doing nothing, wasting your time." At that moment, you might ask yourself, "Why am I even here?" But then imagine a different scenario. You're still waiting, but this time, you're waiting for something important, maybe a person, maybe an event. Suddenly, the waiting feels meaningful. You've given it meaning. Hours can pass, but you're not bothered. The only thing that's changed is your perspective. Giving life meaning is the same. The world might stay the same, but how we see it changes everything. Of course, a big question is how we give meaning to life. Maybe you're waiting for a bus or your loved one. Throughout history, humanity has tied the idea of meaning to the belief in eternal life. Many religions focus on the afterlife and what happens after death. But do we need the idea of eternal life to give our lives meaning? Can we find meaning without religion or gods? For many people, faith is the strongest source of meaning, but even a religious person must overcome the emptiness in life, not just through faith, but also through their experiences, values, and choices. Meaning doesn't only come from divine sources. It can also come from our efforts, our connections with others, and our relationship with the world. But doesn't basing the meaning of life solely on the idea of an existence after death render our suffering in this world meaningless? If there is a perfect, just world waiting for us after this one, does that make the pain, the hardships, and the challenges of this life seem unimportant? Kierkegaard believed that religious faith could help overcome existential anxiety, while Nietzsche argued that the idea of an afterlife devalues this life. Camus, with his absurd philosophy, said that searching for meaning beyond death disconnects us from the real world. If we believe we can only find meaning after death, it becomes hard to accept and value the life we have right now. But the life we're living now is the only certainty we have. So even if we have a belief system, we must remember that the responsibility for giving meaning to life is still ours. Life gains meaning through the value we give it. So, what do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let's start a meaningful conversation. Maybe your existential crisis can help someone else find their way. In the end, the answers we find on this journey may not be enough. Maybe the deepest questions of life aren't found in the answers, but in the fact that we keep asking them. Sometimes walking in the dark leads you closer to the brightest light. Perhaps we need to lose ourselves in the dark before we can find everything in the light.